small interaction, because it's after lunch. You people might be in a sleepy mood. That's why I don't want it should be a one way. Okay, it should be an interactive, and you should understand not necessarily all the things, whatever that I want to say, that I want to know at least some percentage of that delivery you should aware. Okay. Anyway, since you already completed almost 60% of the course, okay, just I want to know what is the topic of your study. Huh?
Greenhouse management.
Greenhouse management. What do you mean by greenhouse management?
Managing all the activities related to growing crops within the greenhouse environment.
Managing.
All the activities
Which are the activities?
like sowing the seeds, controlling the drip irrigation, crop fertilization,
Controlling
controlling the drip systems,
Ah.
shelters,
Ah.
your cool and pad system. Inside the air enters how much.
Why greenhouse
Sir, it is
is
basically the usage of greenhouse technology, which is entrapping the light from the atmosphere,
why you need to interrupt the light?
so that so we can
So we can maximize the productivity.
Maximize the which productivity? Productivity of plant. Which are those things which you want to control?
so temperature,
Yes.
environmental.
So just yeah. Anyway, okay. I know greenhouse management is a management subject, but there is a technology also. You can just see greenhouse management and technology. So I am just speaking on behalf of technology, not from the management side. Okay. So technology, you are aware, if a plant, okay, wants to grow, which are the various parameters which you need to consider it? Slowly.
Electrical
Sir,
conductivity.
water.
Electrical conductivity in what way?
The media which we are providing the nutrients to must have a certain optimum amount of electrolytes.
Media, you are telling it towards it. Huh?
Soilless substrate that we are using within the greenhouse must have a within specified range of electrical conductivity and pH for the optimum growth.
What?
Air, water, and sunlight.
Yes. So simple thing is, you require, for a plant to grow, you require something, like is some nutrients are required. Okay, that if you want it to be optimized, you need to control them. Okay, even if sufficient nutrients are there, no, you can't provide all the nutrients over there, and no, plant will not grow if it is in excess of their requirement. Okay, and even if deficiency is also there, then also crop doesn't grow properly. Okay, you know your requirement, okay, or your plant to grow and to give sufficient yield, you must have, okay, some optimized value. Okay, I am not talking about from the management side, but I am talking from the technology side. Okay, so since you are talking about agriculture, or in other words, in our context, the plant to grow, yes, we need to see that, okay, those things, which are the things which we need to study, or which we need to have it, how to measure it. Just now she said, okay, yes, soil parameters, okay, or you can say agri parameters in a way, or meteorological parameters. I think he was saying we need to consider meteorological parameters also. Can anyone name some of the meteorological characteristics?
Atmospheric pressure, humidity,
Atmospheric pressure, humidity, light, temperature,
sunlight, sunshine,
sunlight. Anything
rainfall,
else? Huh?
rainfall.
Rainfall, yeah, rainfall, or in other words, we can call it as a precipitation in general. Okay, so I am just coming into somewhat deepness, okay, in those agrometeorological characteristics. So I am just mentioning which are the meteorological characteristics, okay, and how to measure them, in what way they are related with your greenhouse management. That's what I want to say in my this presentation today. So, okay, it may be most probably, I don't know, time is allowing me to take up all the issues, but I am try to see that in a nutshell, you should know which are all the various parameters which will come into picture in case of your plant growth. Okay. So, as I said, okay, in this just a basic parameters, which are those that I am just mentioning, and how to measure it, some brief idea I will give it to you, and some of the parameters which we are measuring in our crop research center. We have a Normani Borla crop research center which we are going to measure it in the field. If time permits, we will see. We can have a visit to that laboratory also, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I don't know that thing. Okay. Nature. Okay, I will do it. Better. Yeah, I think it's okay. My current. So you can just see this is our beautiful crop research center. As you are aware, it's a semicircle which was planned long back, somewhere during 1960 onwards. They planned it. It is just a part of the circle, and you will find this main road here. So you will be sitting somewhere in College of Agri Business Management here. Okay, so these are the inner road. This is outer circular ring road, like that. It is just a planning. You can just see how those British, US guys, okay, during 1960 onwards, they planned it in such a way that that administrative block should be at the central position. And of course, this is your Uttarakhand thing. Okay. I am coming to one of the main parameters. I was telling you soil is one, water is another one, and of course air is also required, that I will take up later on. So I am interested in water only because my specialization is related with water. Okay. So water, you can see it will be known by different names throughout the world. Even in India also different terminologies exist. Suppose for example, in Hindi, Pani, you people are calling. In Malayalam, it is known as Vellu. Okay. Anyway, this is not our interest. Just to say that, yeah, how diversified is our water. Okay, and it is in a different format it exists. Okay, and you can just see the different languages. It will be called with different names. Okay, even I don't know some of the languages. Only we can just have a look it into of different terminologies of that simple Pani. Okay. Yeah, I am dealing with hydrology. I am a hydrologist. As the name itself indicates, hydro means water, logy means science. Okay, so this is related with our greenhouse management. That's why I am just taking this subject hydrology for you to understand the things. Okay, so in hydrology we are dealing with, you just see occurrence, where the water comes from, where it occurs. Sorry. Okay, where it comes from, okay, and how we will get water, okay, because water precipitation, or I will come to that hydrological cycle later, and how this circulates, because water will not stand still there itself, it moves, okay, from place to place, or from time to time it moves, okay, and then distribution, how that moves at different categories, okay. So those things on the planet, including physical, chemical properties, which I wants to know for your plant growth, because you people are calling NPK and other things, particularly in agriculture. There is potassium, then sodium, okay, and others. Okay, so those things you require it. Not only that, not only physical and chemical properties, we are also interested in biological properties also. Okay, College of Basic Sciences, there is a separate department itself for biotechnology and other things. That is comes under biology. So this is the definition. Not now. UNESCO has defined what you mean by hydrology. That's what my interest is. Anyway, you are already aware water exists in three phases. Okay, one is in liquid, solid, and then vapor stage or gaseous stage. Okay, and that is, we can't say exactly vapor is so much, gas is so much, or liquid is so much, or solid is so much. Yeah, it turns. It is a changing pattern. Today it may be in solid, tomorrow it may be in flowing like liquid, or day after tomorrow it may be vaporizing. Okay, it's a continuous process. That's why we used to call, okay, hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle means from one form of that water, let us say solid stage, to the liquid stage, to the gaseous stage. So that entire cycle is never ending. It's a continuous process. Only thing is the total quantity remains the same. आज बाढ़ आ गया, पानी ज़्यादा मिल रहा है, नो, that is not the case. Okay, or सूख गया, okay, that famine exists, no, that may not be the case. Okay, water is same only, same amount only. One thing is that distribution, okay, and occurrence, and the formats, okay, different formats, that affects a lot. Okay, you may not be in a position to grow good crop at the same location in at the same time. Today, yeah, you may get a good crop, but next year you may not get it. Okay, that's why you can just see टमाटर का प्राइस कितना हो गया, 80 हो गया, बट वही 10 रुपए थे लास्ट ईयर. Okay, so that thing will happen because you may not get the same amount of yield at the same place at the same time, not necessarily. Okay, so that we need to manage it. That's why we are going it for all these technologies like greenhouse management and other things. Okay, so that we will see that parameters which affects the plant growth should be maintained constantly or same. That's why we need to know this constants. Anyway, as I said, soil, plant, and atmosphere, you will find the water. Okay, without water, nothing can be done. It is the basic need for a plant to grow. That's why we are going to study it. And note that we need to look at it into quantitative aspects also. Just pani mil gaya, no, that is not sufficient. Water is available in sea, plenty. Okay, but what is the quality of that one? Quantity में तो मिल जाएगा, but what happens to this qualitative, okay, and quantitative? Both are required. Quantity should be sufficient or adequate in a way, and it should have a good quality also, so that plant can grow. Okay, that's what he wants to say. It is just this entire thing is known as hydrological cycle. Okay, so as I said, it includes biosphere, it includes atmosphere, okay, in the vapor stage or gaseous stage, same water, okay, and it may be in lithosphere, and of course in sea and ocean it is known as hydrosphere. So water is same only thing is the amount of water, the type of water or form of water which exists may vary from one sphere to another sphere, and that calls for your demand for management. Okay. Anyway, I will not go to the details of this one. I think from the figure itself you can understand ocean will be there, there will be evaporation, and this evaporation is also not constant throughout the period of the time. Okay. During summer it may be more, or winter it may be less, or something like that. That variation may be there even in that summer also. Okay, that depends upon quality of the water. If it is a salty water, it takes more time. Okay, and if it is a fresh water, evaporation is more. If I ask me, or if I put a question to you, okay, just for clarification, same amount of water will be there. One water will be there in lake, like your Nainital lake, and same amount of water there will be in sea. So where you expect more evaporation? Is it in the lake or is it in the sea? Any idea? Amount is same and exposed surface area is same. Hmm? Yes, someone said the lake. Yes, lake. Lake evaporation will be more because of the solar radiation which you are going to get it. But if you go to the sea, that is polluted. It doesn't allow the water, solar radiation, because that is the energy which you are going to get it from sun. Okay, so from the solar radiation, that pollutants, they won't allow the solar rays to fall on that water, and that's why evaporation is less in the sea rather than in the lake or a freshwater reservoir, in other words, okay, rather than everything is same, quantity is same and exposed area is same. Only thing is here it is fresh water, here it is sea water or polluted water in a way. Okay. Anyway,
Sometimes the salts affect the evaporation also.
huh?
Salts present in the ocean water.
Yeah, so that's what now I am saying. Salts which are there, that is sodium chloride and other things. Not only that sodium itself, there are many pollutants will be there. Okay, even I am not talking about floating objects or floating debris, etc. Okay, that is entering, but I am just talking about the chemical part, or you can say the things which are dissolvable, that I am talking. So since most of the pollutants are dissolved, okay, dissolvable solids, okay, so note that their evaporation will be relatively less than a freshwater lake like Nainital Lake or maybe a reservoir at Nanakmatta, okay, etc. Anyway, that is a matter of study. So that just I wanted to say is evaporation may not be the same, okay, even in that sea also, because at that means so many other criteria. I just spoke one quality aspect only, pollutant only, but there may be a wind. If the wind is there, okay, there will be more evaporation. Okay, that's why we need to study wind also. Okay, similarly, in which direction the wind will blow. Just wind blows, okay, that is fine, but in which direction that wind will blow, that also matters a lot. Like that, many things are there in case of evaporation. Anyway, I don't want to go in deep. So once again, because of the evaporation, condensation occurs under some standard temperature and pressure. I think some you people told that some qualities, okay, parameters. Okay. So after condensation, not necessarily that if it condenses here, water should fall down on the ocean itself, because these clouds which will move because of the wind, or earth rotates its own. Okay. So that's why evaporation may occur here, but don't expect the precipitation to happen here itself. Okay. If he happens to fly in a flight, okay, generally there will be a turbulence, and the turbulence will be there only during takeoff or while landing only, not when it is flying. Why? Any idea?
Because air is dense and
Hmm?
air is dense in lower atmosphere.
Air in?
Air is dense in
Ah,
lower.
yeah, you are coming to the nearest this thing. I am just putting it in another way. You just see near the surface there will be clouds. Okay, clouds means what? What do you mean by cloud? It contains water, nothing else. Okay, whatever this water which is evaporated, this condensation process occurs, this cloud will be there. So when the flight passes through these clouds, okay, you will get lot of turbulence. वो गिर जाएगा क्या, ऐसा भी डर हो जाएगा, because lot of shaking will be there, and that what is, air hostess will ask you to tie your seat belts, etc. Okay, that is while moving and landing only, not during flying, because most of the flights, particularly long distance flights, they will move above 10,000 or 10,000 meters or 40,000 feet, 30 to 40,000 feet they will fly, because at that point nothing exists. You will not observe whether that flight is moving or otherwise. You can't experience. आपको लगेगा अरे इधर ही है but that was moving at a speed of around 1,000 kilometers per hour at that time. On an average, I am telling you. It may be more than that also. If it is a big flight, it may be 1,200, 1,400, something like that. Okay, I am not talking about these Air Force and others. I am just talking about a normal aircraft. Okay, and at that point, okay, these clouds will not be there. It will be in only the lower height only, not at the top. Okay, at that 35 or 40,000 height, no clouds exist. So there is no disturbance at all. Okay, only while coming down, it has to come down here. Okay, these clouds will be there. Yes, you will get some resistance from that water body, okay, or a condensed vapor, and you will get turbulence. Okay, and most of the accidents, okay, used to occur while climbing or while landing only, not during flying. Okay. Anyway, uh, note that water, once again, not, as I said, not necessarily water should fall here. It may move and it may fall somewhere here also, and it goes on, and there will be different terminologies exist. Okay, water may flow on the surface or water may flow below the surface, and the water below the surface is known as subsurface water, we used to call it, and above the surface is known as surface flow. Okay, there are different further terminologies. I don't want to discuss those things. Okay, and note that for plant growth, okay, this subsurface water is more important rather than surface water. Okay, whatever the subsurface water, that too in this soil moisture zone, that is important for you, because this groundwater, okay, groundwater means below the water table, it's of no use for a plant. Okay, the water below the surface, and that too in this soil moisture zone, okay, that too in the soil moisture zone, that is important for a plant growth. Any agricultural thing. Once again, what is the depth of the soil moisture depth? That depends upon the plant which you are going to have it. If it is horticulture crop, it goes deep. It may be 2 meters, one more than a meter in that case. But if it is a paddy or something like that, gehu vagara, maybe a feet maximum. Okay, that depends once again. Okay, that depends upon the plant which you are considering. So anyway, note that this is the water which you are interested, that is required for management purpose. Okay, so this we need to look it into, but the water which goes deep, we are not interested, because that will be stored below the surface of the water. That's why this water, I am just repeating again, the water is neither destroyed nor created. Only thing is, it moves from one point to another point, or one phase to another phase, like all the three forms, solid, liquid and vapor stage, that water revolves, and that is known as, we used to call it as hydrological cycle. Okay. So this is, with these basics, I'm just, this is same thing in a different way we are predicting. As I said, mainly there are four things which are very important, particularly in case of hydrological cycle. One is precipitation, which you people are experiencing nowadays. Okay, precipitation, and then there will be a runoff. Runoff means water which is moving above the ground and also below the surface. Okay, the water below, which is moving below the surface, is groundwater. That will be of much help wherever there is a water shortage is there, because the water is stored in that below the surface. Okay, and that we used to call it sometimes, that is known as groundwater, you can say. So that can be taken away by the roots of that plant. Okay, whatever that plant you are going, okay, that will suck that water and it will, okay, sustain. Okay. And once again, note that this water has to flow to the sea or some storage, okay, and then it has to move evaporation condition. This entire process will continue. Yeah, I was just telling, this is important point from the greenhouse management part. Okay, the soil moisture, whatever it is there, you can just see. I think probably some of you might be from upper hills. There is enough precipitation will be there. Lot of water is to fall at that place. Rainfall, heavy rainfall may be there, but there is no water to drink. That can happen. Okay, like with the case of Almoda, or some parts of Pithoragarh, okay, or some parts of even Garhwal region also, some parts. Okay, they are getting heavy precipitation, okay, and but they will not get water, because whatever that water falls, whatever that precipitation or rainfall occurs, that will just move away on the surface, okay, on the surface, and it will join to the sea, river or whatever may be. Okay, it doesn't infiltrate into the ground. That's what we require it. Okay, because the water which infiltrates इनफिल्ट्रेट्स मीन्स ग्राउंड के अंदर जाना है, वो इम्पॉर्टेंट है, because that is the water which you are going to get it during non-monsoon season. Okay, so that water is important, and if that water is not there, you can't grow also. Okay, leave about other things. आपका स्प्रिंग्स वगैरह झरना धरना क्या बोलते हैं इसको, हाँ हाँ, they will become dry. There is no water to drink even. Leave about irrigation or going crop and other things. Okay, that thing can happen, okay, because of this issue, because the water will not percolate or water will not infiltrate, and that's why this area will become dry in spite of having heavy precipitation at this place. बारिश तो बहुत हो जाता है, but you may not get water. Okay. Anyway, this is that in some quantity. Okay. And note that, ठीक है, ये सब I am just skipping because of shortage of time. You can just see I was talking about I was just talking about the water. Okay. Fresh water's quantity is very less. Okay. And this you can just see ocean is so much. This is just an indicative quantity only, okay, that I am just showing it to you, and you can just see available water is very less. Okay, available for plants and animals is just 0.8%. That only are helpful, and remaining percentage, whatever that 90, nearly 99%, that water you can't use it for any of these purposes, because either the water is salty, or you can say it may be in ocean, okay, or it may be in glaciers. और हिमालय में पानी तो रहता ही है, but how to extract it, how to take it, no way. Okay. Similarly, some of the water may be as a groundwater, it may be below the surface or subsurface, that you can't extract it in general. Okay. ऊपर surface में तो करे ठीक है, but if it is too much deep, where to you have to dig tube wells, bore wells too much deep, you can't use it. Okay. So that's why, and note that the water available for plants and animals is just hardly nearly 1%. Okay. Remaining are all 90%, you can't extract it or you can't use it. That's why we need to have this controlled environment, control management of the water, you need to do it. That's why we are doing greenhouse management. Okay. So I am just saying or said importance of the water, okay, for your plant growth, because that is the most required aspect or required content which is required for your plant growth and yield. And note that this hydrological cycle, okay, qualitatively I just told you in earlier slides, it is just a depiction of that one in a schematic form. Okay, you just see surface detention, पानी ऊपर स्टोर हो जाएगा, and that may infiltrate deep into the ground. It may be surface or it may be subsurface. पानी ऊपर भी जाएगा as a river, as a nava, as a stream. Okay, and also below the surface also water will move. Okay, as a, we used to call it as groundwater flow. Okay, there are in some of the cities or countries you will find groundwater dam also. Groundwater dam means you are storing the water below the surface. Below the surface you are storing water, and that you are extracting for your future use later on. Maybe for agricultural purpose, maybe for drinking purpose, we are using that water later on. Okay. So that is nothing but we are doing the water management aspect. Watershed management we used to call it. Watershed management means we are making that contour bunds वगैरह. I think भीमताल जाते वक्त आप लोग देखा होगा, वो बीच में और टेरेसिंग भी करता है ना, contour terracing बोलते हैं इसको. So that water should not move away on the surface, it should go deep into the ground. सबसरफेस जाना है, वही यूजफुल हो जाता है, नहीं हो तो ऐसा ही बह जाएगा, कोई यूज नहीं है. Okay? और नदी में गिर जाएगा. Okay? That controlling that one is very difficult. That's why all these watershed, there is a separate directorate of watershed management is there. एक गवर्नमेंट एक सेपरेट मिनिस्ट्री है इसको, Ministry of Watershed Development. Okay, that the purpose is that one only. You need to use that water for your purposes. Anyway, yeah, I think I am just skipping all these some of the minor points. Like you should know, you already know. I think you might have studied in the 10th standard or 12th standard what is transpiration, what is evaporation, okay, and infiltration, etc. That's why I'm just skipping. This is a part of your schematic way of hydrological cycle, and this is well explained in this hydrology book by Vijay P. Singh. He was an agricultural engineer from Pantnagar alumni. Now he is at Texas A&M University. He just visualized this schematic diagram. This also I am just skipping. Yeah. Coming to your water itself, okay, I am just briefing you some of the characteristics of water. Yeah, you know, precipitation or rainfall. Okay. Once again, if I say rainfall, it is different types of rainfalls will be there, and how to identify that one and how to measure the rainfall, that I am just briefly explaining, not in detail, because the details you may not be required, but you should aware that yes, this is the instrument which is used for rainfall measurement. Okay. So rainfall is one form of the precipitation. Okay, precipitation is in general, rainfall is one of the component of that precipitation. Precipitation means all the liquid form or maybe even other forms also which falls on the surface of the earth, we used to call it as precipitation. As I said, rainfall is one of the form of the precipitation. Okay, so all usual forms are, yeah, precipitation may be in the form of rainfall, okay, or it may be a snowfall also. Snowfall is also a form of precipitation. Even frost, I think you heard that frost, okay, and hail and dew. I think you might have read it that पानी का bottle आता है, dew water or something like that. वो हिमालयन वाटर बोलते, they are just brand names only. वो तो हिमालय का पानी ही नहीं रहता है, वो जस्ट आपको 10-15 रुपया लेने के लिए वो बोलते हिमालयन वाटर. That thing is, yeah, it is as pure as that Himalayan water. That's what wants to fool you, nothing else. Okay, so it is just a branding only. So these are all the forms of water: rainfall, snowfall, frost, okay, hail, dew, etc. And how to differentiate? Okay, you can just see. Water, you are aware, it may be in these phases: solid, liquid, gaseous. We have already discussed. Okay, coming to the parameters of this rainfall. Okay, one is intensity, as I said. Okay, intensity, that is what is the rate of precipitation. अभी बारिश आ रहा था, मैं आ रहा था, they are sprinkling water only. Okay, it's a light rain we can call it. Okay, even, yeah, drizzling. Okay, drizzle is a word for precipitation only. When you are calling it as a drizzle or when you are calling it as a dew, okay, so that you can just see here. One is intensity, other one is duration. ये आधा घंटा आएगा, आधा मिनट आएगा और आधा वीक आएगा. Okay, that duration also is very important to find the quality and quantity, and of course depth. Okay, and what is the aerial extent, वो सिर्फ पन्नागर में ही आएगा और बड़ी मार्केट में भी आ रहा है और नगला पे आ रहा है. Okay, because that variation is too large. Okay, इधर आप पानी बारिश आ रहा है, बड़ी मार्केट में नहीं आ रहा है. That is the variation, you can find it here. Then you can just imagine in the world or in here heavy rainfall is going on at Delhi, Dubai, Delhi, but not at Pantnagar, no way. Okay. Similarly, frequency. What is the frequency of occurrence? Is it today also happening, tomorrow also it is happening, or maybe after 15 days? Because that is also, these characteristics you need to study. Okay. So once again, I have just give you some idea about when you are calling it as light rain. Okay, intensity has to be 2.5 millimeters per hour. 1 घंटा में depth of water has to be less than 2.5 millimeters. Then only you are calling it as a light rain. Okay. Then similarly, moderate rain. Moderate means this is the value, and if it is heavy intensity rainfall means it should be above this value. Okay. So, in a nutshell, I am just differentiating light rain, moderate rain, heavy rain. Okay. How to differentiate? These are the standards which entire world is applying, not necessarily at Pantanagar, not only in India, even world is following these guidelines. Okay. And note that the drop size has to be between 0.5 to 6 millimeters. This is also important, that droplet which is rainfall which is happening, the droplet size has to be this one, then only you can call it as a rain. If it is lesser than this one or more than 6 mm, no, we are not calling it as a rain. Okay. My query is how to differentiate, okay, one form of precipitation, that is rainfall, with other forms. Okay. So, it should be, conditions are, this is the size, it should be between 0.5 to 6 millimeter is the droplet size, single droplet. Okay. Not only that, based on the intensity, okay, based on the intensity we can call this one. I think आप लोग I think Dehradun में IMD है, they used to say heavy rain is expected at Pantanagar. Okay, they used to predict it, or light rain is expected in parts of Haldwani. Some alerts they used to issue. Nowadays they are saying medium to heavy. What do you mean by medium? Okay, you should understand this is the intensity, one thing, and heavy means, once again in heavy subdivisions are there. I am not going much details. I am just saying in a broad idea, when you are calling it as a rain, yes, you should understand. Okay. I was saying rainfall is only one type of precipitation. When you are calling it as snow, just see, snow is formed the ice crystal masses which usually combine to form flakes. वो छोटा छोटा droplets है ना, they will become solidified and they will mingle among each other. That will become your snow or snowfall, whatever you call it. Then next is hail. Okay, hail is, okay, that will fall on you. Okay, and of course it is a clear ice and compact snow, and the size you can just see here. It may be as small as 0.5 centimeter, it may be big also. Oh, both बड़ा वाला बहुत ही dangerous है. Don't go to the घर के बाहर मत जाइए. Okay, that is dangerous, and that impact of that if it is a 5 centimeter diameter is too heavy. आदमी मर भी सकता है dangerous places. Anyway, this hail is a thunderstorm. This is the diameter, and it may not only human being, it may damage the crops also. It may damage the crops. Why we are going in for your greenhouse that cover means this is the one of the reason. Okay, because they are all it's an engage. Plants are growing in an engage. Okay, so that's why if ice stones falls directly on that one, they will die. Okay, so that's why that cover will be there such that they can allow. Okay, so this is snow हो गया, hail हो गया. You can just see. I just said rain. Okay, I just snow. Then drizzle. Drizzle is, okay, you just see, less than 0.5 millimeter size. 0.1 to 0.5 millimeter is the diameter of the droplet. Okay, then intensity has to be very less. Just see 1 millimeter per hour. 1 millimeter per hour. ऐसा ही I think नैनीताल जाने के समय some of you might have observed, okay, आपका वो floating होते रहता है, that you can call it as a drizzle. That water which is there in the air or in that atmosphere, they will float, they will move along with you. Okay, and that you can call it as a drizzle, and they appear to be floating in the air. Okay, that you can call it as a drizzle. And there is a hail. Just now we discussed hailstones वगैरह, वो तो पन्नागर में भी आप लोग ऑब्जर्व करते हैं, हॉस्टल वगैरह में भी देख सकते हैं और सब. Okay, and you can just see the diameter Okay, this is the size of this one. Okay, and then there is an another term called, another form of precipitation known as sleet. Okay, sleet is frozen raindrops when fall through sub-freezing zone. Okay, वो पानी गिर गया, okay, surface में गिर गया, then because of the low temperature, if it is less than 4 degree, they will freeze. वो ऊपर वो जैसा फ्लेक जैसा का ये हो जाता है, स्लीट, फ्रोजन रेन ड्रॉप्स, वो लिक्विड से सॉलिड हो जाएगा, बिकॉज लेस देन 4 डिग्री लेस देन 4 डिग्री हो गया तो फ्रीज हो जाएगा. Okay, that is known as sleet. Okay, then glaze. Okay, it is just glaze means just the ice coating on the exposed surface. Okay, that is the difference between sleet and glaze. Okay, and this will happen, okay, because of the temperature difference. पानी तो वही रहेगा, okay, but because of the change in temperature, that's why we are saying, okay, we need to study these parameters also in case of your agriculture. Okay, because if it freezes, if the water freezes on the field, your plants doesn't get water. वो पानी अंदर जाने के लिए छोड़ेगा ही नहीं, ये वो पूरा ये हो जाएगा. So that's why you should have an idea about all these things. Anyway, this I will just skip all these things. This may not be required for you because next is how to measure the rainfall. Because just now this is one of the parameters which you need to measure it. So for that one, even पहले भी measure करते थे inches or even 4th century also they were measuring. But nowadays we are using an equipment, okay, known as rain gauge or precipitation gauge we used to call it, and this instrument may be a recording type or it may be a non-recording type because of the advances in technology nowadays. Because कोई जाना नहीं चाह रहा है, बारिश आ गए तो सर बारिश आ रहा है, मैं कैसे मेजर करूँ? Okay, if that is the case, then yes, there are recording type rain gauges also. There is no human intervention over there. The data you will get directly on your laptop or computers or whatever that may be. Okay, they are known as the name itself indicates, a recording type rain gauge and non-recording type. Earlier there were only non-recording type, okay, because technology was not so advanced at the time, but nowadays you will get recording type rain gauge only. Recording type also, different types of recording rain gauge exist. I just before this thing, wherever that meteorological station will be there, it should satisfy some conditions. Those things have been listed. I think those who are from Pantnagar, you might have seen that agro meteorological station and crops center just opposite to your mushroom center. Okay, there you will find some standard has to be there. These are mentioned by Bureau of Indian Standards, or you can say India Meteorological Department. They are saying इतना इतना होना चाहिए. बिल्डिंग के बगल में आप रेन गेज लगाए तो इज ऑफ नो यूज. Okay, you may ask me, sir, why can't I measure in CIBM itself? You can measure it, but you will not get a correct results. Okay, so that's why for that site, to establish a meteorological station, you should have a standard site that has been listed over here. Okay, anyway, that lecture notes has been given. I think that you can refer it over there. Okay, so this is a Pantnagar meteorological station. You can just see this building is far off. This is a typical rain gauge, ordinary rain gauge. Okay, this is a non-recording type ordinary rain gauge. As I said, if we get time, maybe tomorrow we'll see and we can have a visit over there. And it should be, there should be a fence all around. Okay, and this is known as wind vane. Okay, and this shows wind direction, in which direction the wind is blowing, in which direction the wind is blowing. Okay, and this one is known as, okay, how many bright sunshine hours are there in a day? Is it 5 hours Is it 6 hours? Is it 8 hours? Okay. That varies from place to place because sunshine is required, particularly for plant growth. Without that, they can't grow. Okay. If zero sunshine avastha, your plant will never grow. Okay. Or that growth quality is reduced. Okay. That should be optimized. And I think since just as an idea, there are some countries their sun never sets during some period. Okay, पूरा दिन ही रहेगा, पूरा all the 24 hours. Okay, and some countries are there उधर sun ही नहीं रहेगा, means daytime ही नहीं रहेगा. There are some countries like that also. Just as a matter of fact, just 2 weeks back when I was in Romania, वो रात 10 बजे हो गए तो भी वो अंधेरे नहीं होते थे और सुबह तो 4 बजे ही उजाला हो जाते थे. टाइम देखते हैं 10 बजे, बाहर देखा तो इट्स लाइक ए डे टाइम. Okay, there is particularly if you go to that Norway and other areas, yes, that thing may happen. That's why this is also very important. How many number of sunshine hours are there? Because the plant which grows in Pantanagar may not grow at that place. Okay, even in India also, you may take some plants; they will not grow in southern part of India, or the plant which grows in hilly area that may not be growing in maybe Madras or maybe some other places, Odisha or like that. Okay. So that's why these are all the parameters I'm just saying, and here also you can just see this is the soil temperature. Soil temperature is also very important, particularly for plant growth, as soil temperature. Okay, if it is below the surface, that also varies. It is not constant. वो सरफेस के अंदर है वो टेम्परेचर सेम है क्या पूछा तो नहीं, एंड इट वेरीज विथ डेप्थ. ओके, ऊपर वाला कम भी रह सकते हैं, ज्यादा भी रह सकते हैं, उसका नीचे और भी कम रह सकता है, ज्यादा भी रह सकते हैं. रिलेटिवली आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. ओके, सो इवन इफ इट इज 3 meters, at every meter the temperature may be changing. Okay, not necessary always. रात में ऊपर वाला कम रहेगा, okay, and दिन में नीचे वाला कम रहेगा. That variation is also possible because that is very important, particularly for your plant growth, because radiation has to occur. Okay, night time temperature is more at the bottom rather than at the top. Okay, and दिन में रिवर्स हो जाएगा, ऊपर वाला ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर रहेगा. If you go deep into the subsurface, it will less temperature. Okay, so that variation will be reversed during the night, and daytime it may be ulta ho sakta hai. Okay, anyway, those parameters which we need to have it, yes, I will just skip it. Okay, so these are some of the rain gauges. Rain gauge is simple. This area is there. Okay, a stopper will be there. The water will be collected in this area, and that will be stored here. That will be measured in case of an ordinary rain gauge, simple rain gauge, and this is known as non-recording rain gauge. Okay, and sometimes it is also known as Simon's rain gauge because there was a scientist which invented this one. That's why it is Simon's rain gauge. That's why Simon's rain gauge. Simple. एक funnel रहेगा, and that area of this funnel is known to you, and you are collecting the water in a jar, and you are measuring after 24 hours. Okay, this is simple one. And of course, India Meteorological Department, IMD means India Meteorological Department, has also developed a rain gauge, and that is not one more thing. Note that same rain gauge you can't use it at all the places. पटनागर में कौन सा रेन गेज यूज करेंगे वो आप बॉम्बे में यूज नहीं कर सकते, और राजस्थान में यूज नहीं कर सकते, और असम में यूज नहीं कर सकते. Okay, that cross section that offers a top cross sectional area may differ from one place to another place. Okay, and of course it may be 100, 200 or 1000 depending upon the area of the collector. Okay, anyway, I will not go once again much details. So this is a typical rain gauge, and all these details are explained in this code book. Okay, इसका ये area कितना होना चाहिए, and inside this one you'll find a collector. Okay, so this you can see even physically also in our crop process center. Same thing has been established. You can just see this is also another gauge, storage gauge we used to call it. And you can just see, I took some of your seniors we had been to. It is showing this rain gauge. This is a typical rain gauge. इसमें कुछ नहीं है. This is the collector. Water can be collected here, and at the top, okay, this funnel will be there. Okay, it collects the water in this one, and they will be, one has to measure. It's an ordinary rain gauge only, no sophistication and other things. So generally 8:30 in the morning they will measure amount of water, and next day after 24 hours you will measure how much amount of water collected. That you can, using your measuring jar, you can do it, and you can say this is the amount of water, depth of water collected. Okay. Anyway, note that this is just a how to measure precipitation. Okay. Yeah, you can just see that. I think those are from agriculture, they might be aware of this professor. He's professor of agrometeorology. Okay. They are taking some reading and other things. And of course, nowadays there will be recording rain gauges. Okay. It records on a graph sheet, okay, because of the technological advances. Recording rain gauge, one is, once again different types of recording rain gauge will be there. One is weighing type. Okay, वो पानी भर गए तो वो weight बढ़ेगा and it moves down that collector. Okay, so that can be recorded over here. That is the only technology which has been applied here. Okay, this is the full details of that one as per IS. And another one is known as tipping bucket type. Okay, tipping bucket type is also one of the recording type of rain gauge. It's like a seesaw. I think छोटा बच्चा आप लोग देखा होंगे. Okay, so when the water falls here, okay, क्या बोलते हैं इसको, आप लोग खेलते हैं ना, छोटा बच्चे खेलते रहते हैं, दोनों बैठ जाता है. हाँ, seesaw. Okay, that seesaw हिंदी में पता नहीं मेरे को. Okay, this is similar to that one. When the water falls here, ये fill up हो जाएगा. 0.2 mm पानी आ गया तो ये नीचे चले जाएगा. So that one tips. Okay, similarly this will come up. Okay, then ये full हो गए तो ये नीचे आ जाएगा. So how many number of types that tips? So that will be recorded in this sheet, graph sheet. Of course, nowadays is also computerized fully. Okay, this is known as tipping bucket type. This is based on the principle of simple seesaw, which you know. Okay, so this is tipping bucket type. Earlier one was weighing type. Okay, this I will just skipping. And there is another one is known as float type. Float means इसमें पानी आ गया, buoyancy की वजह से ऊपर चला जाएगा. Okay, so that can be recorded in this graph sheet. ये भी पुराना method है. Okay, still I am just showing it to you because you should know. Based on this one, so technological advances have been taken place. So there are three types of automatic rain gauges. One is weighing type, other one is tipping bucket type, and this one is floating type. Because पानी में कुछ भी मैं डाल दिया तो वो float हो जाएगा. Okay, these principles have been adopted and this rain gauge has been. So nowadays it is still advanced. कोई tipping नहीं, कुछ नहीं है. Okay, this is a digital rainfall recorder. Okay, this is ये तो just for power purpose only. This solar radiation will be there, and this is the rain gauge. Nowadays it exists, and that directly transmits to your through wireless or through cordless, maybe your computers. So nowadays this is in practice. Digital rainfall recorder. It records the rainfall which is falling and it transmits the data. You can get it on your thing. No necessity of going over there and other things. Okay. So this test I wanted to show it to you in case of technological, particularly precipitation. So this is just this one has been expanded here. This is the digital rain gauge. So when the water falls on this one, that will be recorded through sensors. This I am just skipping. And nowadays, all the parameters, most of the meteorological parameters, you can measure it through a simple weather station, pocket weather station we call it. I think even in mobile also you can measure temperature. Okay, you can measure height. Okay, like GPS coordinates आप लोग देखा होंगे मोबाइल पे, आप कितना हाइट पे है, इसका लैटिट्यूड क्या है, लॉन्गिट्यूड क्या है. So those things you can get it on your mobile. Like this is also, it's a pocket weather station we used to call it. You can measure pressure, you can measure how much height you are above the mean sea level. Similarly, temperature you can measure it, humidity you can measure it. With this pocket weather, you can measure wind speed, okay, chilling, dew point, okay, all these things, wet bulb and heat index you can, okay, measure it with this. So just I wanted to say that all these parameters like wind speed, these are all required for your greenhouse management. Okay, you should know what is the wind which is blowing, in which direction. Okay, what should be the wetness index or what is the relative humidity. Okay, so those things you can measure it by this simple instrument. Okay, it's handy, you can measure it. That's what I want to say from the technology side. This is a typical automatic weather station which exists in our crop research center itself. Okay, in our university itself. I'm just showing it to you. Yeah, this is just our students had been to visited that weather station in the field. You can just see the library is here. This is the place where that tractor workshop no देखा है. So yeah, and this is the station which is you can just see wind direction it will show, and what is the wind speed you can measure it, wind anemometer. Similarly, there is a solar backup will be there, power purpose, and you can store it there also, like your floppy drive or whatever you call it. Okay, there is a storage device, and you can store it for months together data. Okay, and you can bring it at your place. Okay, and you can use it for your purposes. So this is another way of that automatic weather station. I'm just moving fast because he has already said time is up. Okay. Anyway, I will just note that just data itself is not sufficient. You need to analyze it. Okay, you make it should, because whatever the data you're collecting is just at a point only. But same thing at same place, it may not be the same. It may vary from here to Buddy Market, or it may vary from other place to this place. Okay, that's why it should be normalized. So all those things I'm just skipping. Because you need to apply the corrections, how to apply the corrections and other things. These are all statistics and mathematics that I will not touch. No. No, this is also not required. I will just show you. This is another one. I think just now we are talking about radars. Okay, even in Uttarakhand also we have Doppler radars. Doppler radars, they will sense and they will announce the thing. Okay, yeah, this is the condition today. There are two Doppler radars in Uttarakhand. One is in Gadwal region and other one is at Kumaon region. And one more Doppler radar is in implementation near what is that? Aries नहीं नहीं, नैनीताल के पास है एरिस, और एक जगह राम, मैं भूल गया उसका नाम। सो नहीं, नया बन रहा है ना मैडम, एरिस का दूसरा एक बन रहा है, एंड ह्यूज this radar is be installed over there. This is known as Doppler radar. Two, now one in each region, Kumain and Galwal region is there. So two more are yet to come. Same, one in Gadwal region, particularly in hilly area, and Kumain also somewhere further upwards, they are installing, so that you will get all the information through this next radar. Okay, and the radars which are present in Uttarakhand are Doppler radars, we used to call it, something like this tower that gives you, you can predict whatever that predictions which you are going to get it from IMD. India kal barish aa raha hai, aap satark rahiye. Okay, and this is the wind speed which is expected. Okay, or this is the heavy precipitation, I think 5 तारीख तक heavy precipitation they are expecting, that is through these radars only. Okay, so this is the latest technology, and of course we can have some foreign radars also. I think I will skip these things because I just saw only one parameter. Even evaporation also you need to measure it. For that one, evaporation pans will be there. This also you can see in our crop research center. Okay, this is from that one only. I just taken. This is that open pan evaporimeter which we have it in our crop research center. You can just see this is part of your meteorological station only. Okay, you just see fencing is required, and these are all standards. Okay, this should be made up of gunmetal, and इसका diameter इतना ही होना है, and इसका cover भी होना है. Okay, so those things are there. I am just showing it to you for just for information purpose. And here also evaporation not necessary. This is just a manual. Okay, so here nowadays digital evaporimeters have also come. Okay, no need of recording and other things. It will give you with the technology different types of sensors will be there. This may be water temperature sensors, wind sensors, okay, and air sensors. So these things will be there, and there will be another instrument known as Stevenson screen. I think someday we are talking about humidity. Humidity is measured by this Stevenson screen. It consists of 4 thermometers: maximum, minimum, dry bulb and wet bulb. Okay, बिकॉज मिनिमम कितना होता है आपको पता नहीं रहता है, रात में सुबह 2 बजे जाके आप खड़े नहीं रह सकता है टेम्परेचर मेजर करने के लिए. दैट्स व्हाई देयर इज अ सेपरेट टेम्परेचर फॉर लो वन, एंड व्हेन दिस मैक्सिमम टेम्परेचर वो मैक्सिमम दिखाएगा, मैक्सिमम, मिनिमम, ड्राई बल्ब एंड वेट बल्ब टेम्परेचर. सो विद दिस 4 टेम्परेचर्स you can find out what is known as relative humidity, or humidity we used to call it. Okay, I'm just yeah, you can just see this professor is explaining to the agrometeorological students, particularly agricultural students, because they are studying, because that is required for your plant. This is known as cup type anemometer. This is used to measure the wind speed. कितना fast चल रहा है, कितना that wind speed will be there, how many kilometers per hour, that you can measure it, and the related code is this one. Okay, this is also from our own crop research center only, which exists, and if time permits we will visit that place also. Okay, and other one is what is the direction of the wind, ये ऐसा जा रहा है wind, or you can just see this is known as wind vane. Okay, so wind vane, it shows the in which direction wind is blowing. Okay, I think airport में भी आप लोग देखा होगा, ये wind direction is very important, because that flight when it is landing or taking off, wind direction plays a major role. Yeah, there are some things happen during because of wind also. Okay, so that is also very important while landing and taking off the by aircraft also. Same is required for your plant growth also. Okay, so here it is a manual one. Okay, there are 16 directions are possible in this one. Okay, so this is, I told you, soil thermometers. Okay, these are at different depths, 5 centimeter, 10 centimeter, 15 centimeter. So you can find out the radiation, okay, by measuring these thermometers. ऐसा नहीं है ज़्यादा डेप्थ नीचे है वो ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर देगा, no, that is not the case. That depends upon when you are going to read this thermometers. That is important. Okay, so they are reading. Anyway, some technical things I am just skipping. Okay, you can just see they are observing. Okay, it is slant. And other one is I was just talking about sunshine recorder. I was telling you how many number of daytime hours are there, that you can read it from this sunshine record. ये भी कुछ नहीं सिंपल है. I think आप लोग that glass मैग्नीफायर ग्लास वो पेपर लेकर के बंद करते थे, वही टेक्नोलॉजी है, कुछ ये नहीं. Okay, one thing is here it can read it. Okay, so you can just see this is the thing. Okay, it burns. It shows that yeah sunshine hours are there today, 5 घंटा था, 6 घंटा था, और कितना घंटा है that you can measure. So these students are just observing that one in our crop research center. Okay, this is known as sunshine record. That is how many number of bright sunshine hours are there in a day, that you can measure it over there. Of course, this is also fully computerized, and of course, this is a digital solar radiation. As I said, technology has adopted, and lot of latest things are available. And the last one, just I want to say, this lysimeter, it is used for measuring evapotranspiration. Evaporation as well as transpiration. Transpiration is through the plants. प्लांट्स के थ्रू पानी एवोपरेट हो जाएगा ना, उसको ट्रांसपिरेशन बोलते हैं. एवोपरेशन इज फ्रॉम द साइड्स. सो बोथ ऑफ देम कैन बी मेजर्ड इन दिस lysimeter. This is a typical schematic diagram of that lysimeter. This also we have it in our crop research center. Okay, this is known as weighing type lysimeter. Okay, ये देखिए इधर यही दिखेगा, नीचे वाला कुछ नहीं दिखेगा. Okay, and इधर भी प्लांट रहेगा, outside भी plant रहेगा. Okay, so this we are comparing and we will find out the what is the amount of evapotranspiration which occurs. Okay, so with this I will just stop here. I will not go further details of this one, and yeah. So today I just given you a glance of our your meteorological characteristics which you should aware, particularly in case of your greenhouse management. So as you have said already, controlled environmental conditions are required. So for that purpose, yes, you need to know all these factors. Okay. So any queries and other things are there, you can let me know. Hello. Hello.